Let me tell you, the only thing stranger than seeing a beat-up black sedan rolling up to the Reynolds mansion on a Tuesday morning is being inside that car, clutching the wheel so hard your knuckles ache, and wondering if you're about to do the bravest or dumbest thing of your life. And you know what? Sometimes it's both. That was me, Emma Mitchell, oldest of the Mitchell triplets by a whopping 7 minutes, staring up at those columns like they were staring right back, judging me before I even got out. "We should just call and explain," I said, voice shaking, but my sister Olivia in the back already had the mop and glass cleaner out, ready to storm the castle. "And then what?" she shot back. "Mom needs this job. Hospital bills don't pay themselves." Sarah, our gentle peacemaker, squeezed my shoulder from the passenger seat. "We promised. We always stick together. We made a lot of promises over the years to our dad before he died in Afghanistan, to each other bouncing between foster homes during Mom's breakdowns, and now to Margaret Mitchell, our mother, lying in county hospital with a case of pneumonia gone sideways from 3 weeks of overtime cleaning for folks like the Reynolds. "Let's just get in and out," I said finally, unlocking the doors. The old wooden service entrance waited for us, heavy and ancient, like it had seen 100 other scare girls come through and wasn't impressed. The groundskeeper waved us through, probably didn't even notice we weren't our mom. "Remember, Mom said, Mr. Reynolds is never home on Tuesdays," Sarah whispered, just before we slipped inside a kitchen big enough to host the prom. The marble counters shone so bright you could see your future in them, and Olivia actually paused at the espresso machine like she might dare to touch it. "Don't even think about it," I warned. "We clean, we leave, no snooping." We split up, like we'd done in every house since we were 14. Sarah took the living rooms, Olivia got the bathrooms, I headed to the study. Mom was always extra about Mr. Reynolds' office. "Dust everything, but don't move a single thing out of place." That room looked more like a museum than somewhere a person worked. Books from floor to ceiling, sunlight pouring in through windows overlooking hills we'd never afford. There was a photo right on the desk, silver frame, a woman with kind eyes hugging a college-age girl who looked just like her. That sort of picture, you could just feel the loss in it. That's when a deep voice snapped through the quiet. "I wouldn't touch that if I were you." Feather duster went flying. I spun around, and there he was, William Reynolds himself, tall and sharp in a tailored suit, looking at us like we'd broken into Fort Knox. I'm so sorry, sir," I stammered, and in 2 seconds flat, Sarah and Olivia showed up like triplet telepathy was real. "You're not Margaret," he said, which wasn't a question. I explained about Mom being sick, us needing the work, and when Olivia chimed in with she didn't want to lose the job, I thought for sure he'd toss us out. But instead, he stared, then told us to meet him in the kitchen in 5 minutes. You ever have a moment when your life just turns left out of nowhere? That was ours. So there we were, perched on bar stools worth more than our whole apartment, while William Reynolds, billionaire CEO, coffee snob, made us espresso like we were old friends. He asked after our mom, listened to our scrambled stories about college and jobs lost, about cleaning houses since we were kids. For the first time, he seemed almost, human. "I have a proposition," he finally said, and what came out of his mouth next nearly knocked me over. His assistant was out on maternity, her temp had just quit, and he wanted to try hiring all 3 of us, split the job in shifts. Olivia, ever the skeptic, asked, "Why trust us?" He just slid a business card across the counter. "Your mother's never let me down. Neither did you." Said to show up the next morning at 7 a.m., try it for a week, see if it worked. We left the mansion that day feeling like we'd been handed the golden ticket. But if you think that was the happy ending, you haven't met the Reynolds Financial Group board of directors. The next morning, we waltzed into the marble lobby in our thrift store best, feeling way out of place but determined not to show it. His chief of staff, Vivian Hartley, was there to size us up, and boy did she. "You're 7 minutes early." "Good." She toured us through rooms we'd only seen in movies, then dumped us in our new workspace. "The previous temp lasted 4 days," she said, "so we better be quick studies." We split up the work. Sarah with phones and calendars, Olivia with computers, me on projects and paperwork. By 9 a.m., William walked in, surprised to see us actually working. "Who's staying for the morning shift?" he asked. "I am," I said, and explained our plan to rotate. He looked impressed, not that he'd say so out loud. "Smart," he said, then hit me with a test. "Parker merger documents, noon, on my desk." I went straight to Vivian, who tried to send me on a wild goose chase across town for the files. But, see, if you grow up poor, you learn to spot a hustle. I found the papers in the building's archive and delivered them with 15 minutes to spare. For the first time, I saw something like respect in William's eyes. That was the first day. The real twist? As the weeks passed, we learned William Reynolds was fighting a war at home, not against market rivals, but against time. His only daughter, Ellie, had the same cancer that killed his wife years ago, and the board was blocking funds for her experimental treatment. The Chin Foundation, his late wife's legacy, was being weaponized against him by his oldest friend-turned-adversary, James Harrington, who'd loved Caroline Reynolds once, maybe still did. Harrington wasn't just fighting for the company. He was fighting for the past, trying to steer Ellie's care his way, not William's. In the middle of all this, our mom's health crashed surgery we couldn't afford, bills climbing like weeds, insurance refusing to help. The night before her operation, I found a check on my desk for $15,000, signed simply, "For your mother's care." Not charity in advance. William knew because he'd been there. 17 years ago, our mom, Margaret Mitchell, had saved his wife with a fundraiser and a blood donation. He never forgot, and now, all these years later, he was saving us right back. When the board ousted William for reckless judgment, we knew we had a fight. Harrington wanted control, wanted to transfer Ellie to another trial at Mayo Clinic, safer, maybe, but not her best chance. But we found a loophole. If we could gather enough shareholders at the annual charity gala, we could force an emergency vote to reinstate William. The whole thing was a heist, orchestrated by three broke sisters, a determined CEO, and our mother, who crashed the party just as Harrington took the stage. She revealed the truth of that old fundraiser. The anonymous hero who'd saved Caroline was James Harrington himself, too heartbroken to accept thanks, too loyal to ever let go. As secrets spilled and old wounds were aired out for everyone to see, William stood beside his old friend and, for the first time, let the past go. They agreed not just to share power, but to put everything into both cancer trials, opening up care for every family who needed it, not just the lucky or wealthy. The shareholders voted to bring William back, and Ellie's treatment resumed. She and our mother recovered side by side. In the same hospital, two stubborn women rebuilding their bodies and their futures. A year later, snow dusted our family's new cabin, a Christmas gift from William after the Mitchell method. Our compassionate care division helped more families than we'd ever dreamed. Our once small world had exploded. Emma, Sarah, and Olivia running a foundation, our mom overseeing policy, William and Harrington finally at peace, and Ellie strong, smiling, playing the piano again. Even Dr. Chun, who'd led the research, had become part of our messy, beautiful family. It wasn't the money or the titles that changed our lives. It was realizing that the biggest miracles hide in ordinary moments. A cleaning job, a cup of hospital coffee, a stranger's kindness. That a nurse's late-night blood donation could someday save the daughter of the woman she once rescued. That rivals could become family, and families could change the world, one act of stubborn, ridiculous, everyday hope at a time. So let me ask you, after all that, do you believe in fate? Or is it just that ordinary people, making impossible choices, sometimes become the heroes of someone else's story? Tell me what you think. What would you have done in our place? Where do you draw the line between duty and hope, loyalty and forgiveness? Drop your thoughts below. I want to know if you see the patterns too, or if, like us, you're just out here trying to keep your promises and maybe, just maybe, save the world along the way.